Welcome back to the Chill Sounds and Breakdowns podcast. It's a sunny day today, really nice day, and it's a nice day for good talk, man. And I'm glad I got someone exciting here today. I'm really excited to talk to. What do I got here today, man?
What's going on? My name is Limerence. I make trap, soul, R&B style type music and stuff like that. Just coming up from Diamond Hill, trying to make music people like, basically.
I'm looking at your shirt. You got a Spaceman Zach, right?
Yeah, I went to the show that just recently happened, his release show.
But you kind of like hang out with like Spaceman Zach and like Blood. I had Blood on here, and I was like, oh, okay. I didn't know you guys like rolled around and like the same thing.
Yeah, I grew up with Blood.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I grew up with him and everything like that. So it was just him and the music stuff is kind of like pushing me forward also, and Zach. I met Zach through him, and it's kind of just like helping me out, really, because I see them doing so much, and I want to do that too.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
You got to make sure you have like people like that around you.
Yeah,
who are pushing you forward. As far as I can tell, like I was looking at like your Spotify, your earliest release was like from 2020. So are you really new into this? Like, are you just starting to put music out? Or like
I'm just starting to put music out.
Okay.
Like, I've always made music. Like, I went through a bunch of different phases because you have your little emo phase in high school and stuff. So I was making like very indie acoustic music, but I never really recorded anything. It was I would just write music and stuff like that. Yeah. And then as I got on, Blood was actually pushing me like, when are you gonna release music? When are you gonna release music? When are you gonna release music? And I'm like, nah, I'm good. I gotta do this. I gotta take care of this. I got a girl I gotta take care of and stuff like that. He's like, when are you gonna do music? You should do music. And I'm like, all right, fine. So I finally recorded stuff. He's like, so when are you gonna put it out? And I'm like, because I held on to most of the songs that I put out. I held on to them for like 6, 7, 8 months.
Really?
Yeah, I was holding on to them because it's really, I guess, like, nervous about releasing music in general, because my family's very music oriented. On my dad's side, they all sing for churches and stuff like that. My dad can play bass, guitar, piano, and all that. My aunts play guitar, bass, and sing and stuff like that. But they're like, you can come sing for the churches? And I'm like, no, I'm good. Like, that's not really my thing. Yeah. I want to sing about, fucking bitches and shit like that,
They wouldn't appreciate that at church.
Yeah, I can't sing about R&B and love making and stuff at a church, And so it was hard for me to kind of put anything out, really.
So you kind of, based on like what your family like musical background was, you're like nervous about putting something out, I guess.
Yeah, kind of because they're very opinionated. Like, I play guitar around them. They're just like, you're not doing it right.
Oh, really?
Like, I don't know what do you mean? Like, oh, you have to strum it like this. And I'm just like, yeah, if I'm playing your like hardcore, like old Mexican, like songs and stuff, like church music, like maybe I'd play it like that, but I'm playing like Sleeping with Sirens and stuff like that. Like, it's supposed to be like messy, like that's what it's supposed to sound like. And they're like, no, that's not music then. And I'm just like, okay, whatever, bro.
So kind of like really like heavily critical, like, but based on like what their background is. So they're trying to like push that on a style that you're not really trying to do.
Yeah.
Okay. Basically. I feel you. That would make it a little like difficult and like kind of like a little nerve-wracking to put any music up. But I mean, the singles that you've put out like are really good. Like,
I appreciate
they're
that.
Really
I really
good. Like, I've been listening to them, and I was listening to them today again. I'm like, man, these are like, they're just really catchy. But I'm a real big fan of like, I guess I don't know the name of the genre, but you said it was kind of like trap soul,
like
R&B.
Trap soul, R&B.
I really like that style.
Yeah.
So like, when I started listening to your music, I'm like, no, this is like right up like my shit, like stuff that like it's real like easy going. The thing I've struggled when like I've written music and stuff is that I try to fit like a lot of words into small spaces. So I'm not good at experimenting with like longer notes, like space in between things. And I feel like that genre, like trap soul, it's kind of what it does. Like, you slow things down a bit, which kind of fits into the whole like subject matter that you're talking about. You know, with what you're like singing about. So you and with the whole like church thing, that's funny because like when I grew like growing up, I was like in the church choir, like with my mom did the church choir, and like I did like musical family. That's one thing is on my mom's side, my almost like think every uncle knew how to play some instrument, like in some degree, and then I have one uncle that to the day like is still like playing music like professionally, like around touring in like Mexico and like playing like different shows and stuff like that. So I mean, but when I started playing music, I was playing metal, so like that was a big like curve, like they were like, what is he doing? and they didn't understand it, but except for like my uncle was like, okay, like I get like it's music. You're still playing music. Like you're still learning. I get your structure and things like that.
Yeah.
I guess was the difference. They didn't get it because I think one year I made the trip out to Mexico and I took like my amp, like a giant like amp, and I took like my electric guitar and I was trying to like show them, oh, this is like what I play and stuff.
Yeah.
He was the only one paying attention. He's like, all right, I kind of understand, I guess. Like, but it's like everybody else is like, you know, it's really weird. It's kind of it's that sometimes just like a generational gap, or sometimes just like people grow up in different times, so it's kind of hard to. It's very jarring if you look at it, and I think I feel like that way now with like some of the stuff coming out now. I'm like, oh, like it takes me a while to kind of understand and get like the flow, but I think that's how music has always been. Like music has always like been changing, and every like generation after is like that's not music or this and that. Like
basically.
So, I think in the past like few years, I've learned to just accept like music is just will forever be changing, and now I just enjoy stuff. Like I just like I used to, and I've said this before on the podcast. Like I used to be like a real big hater, like when I was a little younger. Like I was just like very critical about some stuff, and like bug, like that's not like music. That's not this and that. And now I'm just like I'm just here to have a good time. Like I'm here to
that's
listen to stuff that's entertaining.
You know, because you can always pull from different things also, like different chord, like especially with metal stuff, you can pull different chord progressions from fucking anywhere. Like all music is connected to other music. Like even Tejano music is connected to polka music, you know, from Germany.
Really?
Like the accordion and everything like that.
That's true.
It's all like a lot of the really popular like Tejano songs have polka, like German polka fucking chords and like rhythms on accordion, and it's literally the same thing. It's crazy because I follow some, like I'm not a big Spanish speaker, but I can understand most of it. But I follow a bunch of Tejano pages on Facebook and stuff like that. And then you'll see like these random old white people saying, "I love to see this polka song like playing," and you know, like they use the chord progression, they make it sound so pretty and stuff like that. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, you know what I mean?
What are you talking about?
Yeah, you know, because like this old lady, I'm pretty sure doesn't speak Spanish, is like on this Tejano page because she acknowledges that the accordion, which the part that she likes is the same, you know, and then everybody pulls from everything, you know.
Well, music just transcends, and and it just there's no, I don't know if there's like one. There's not one music like genre or like thing these days that didn't pull from somewhere else. It didn't pull. Like it's all. You had to have had what came before in order to make what you're making now. And I especially knew that like when I was in a band and playing metal, like I hardly, when I started writing the music that I actually like really enjoyed, I stopped pulling from metal because I kept pulling metal from metal bands to make metal. And I'm like, no. Then I started pulling from. I always laugh because one of my favorite, like literally my favorite artist of all time is Juan Gabriel. Like,
really?
And I was just like, I just want to capture like how he's like super fucking emotional and stuff. So that's it. That's what I want. Like I don't want that. And I'll put that into this. And like then I started like singing more and like stuff. Like I really like this singing. I like this style from, you know, this other like band that I saw over here, or this like other like solo artist or an indie artist. And you realize your influences just come from all over the place. Like to write music, you need to kind of be able to broaden like your spectrum you're listening to, because I think people listen to music that way anyway.
I bounce from genre to genre, so I'll literally listen to everything, like metal, like post-hardcore. I've listened to jazz. I've listened to like oldies, like 40s era music, you know, the Temptations and stuff like that, even sooner than that. And then like everything, I listen to everything, but because I enjoy music. If it sounds good to me, I'll listen to it. Like I don't have like country music. Like I'll listen to all of it just because I grew up with that also. Like, and it's crazy because on my mom, it's not just my dad's side; it's my mom's side that's also very musically inclined. Like my uncle or my godfather, he's in a band. He's in like a full, like, I don't know if they're norteñas or not. Like he's in a full band, and they do shows and stuff. I post on Facebook, and he's at parties, you know, and they're like he's singing like. And they're playing like the saxophone and the accordion, and they're all having a good time. And then his son is actually like doing news interviews and stuff like that, because he's like I guess he'd be like a little rock artist in Mexico.
Really?
Yeah, his name is like A.B. Teles or something like that. Like and like he's like me and him were close growing up, but I mean I lived here and he lived
Yeah.
in, you know, Mexico, and like he moved to Mexico City and got signed to a label.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like he'll post pictures and he's in a giant studio and shit like that.
Holy crap.
You know, and like it sucks because there was always a language barrier between them, between me and him, so we never really got super close. Like we always hung out and stuff, but we could only communicate so far. You know, and so I've always wanted to ask him a bunch of stuff about like what he's doing up there and stuff like that, but. You know, family disputes and stuff like that. We don't talk to them no more.
Yeah.
You know, it's always about land and shit like that out there.
Isn't it?
Yeah,
Damn it. That's always the fucking case. God.
It's always like, we don't talk to them anymore.
Land
Why?
disputes.
It's
man,
like
land
wild
disputes
in
will always
Mexico.
like, they'll always get the wild shit. Like I literally like, I don't think we've ever had any like super big drama, but one that was boiling up. I remember just hearing everybody who's like doesn't talk to a certain part of family. It's always like a land dispute.
Yeah, it's literally like, oh, so and so passed away, and then they left it half of this there and half of this there, and then they want the rest of it.
Yeah,
you know, and they're arguing over it, and I'm just like, I just want to see my godparents. Like,
it kind of
geez,
sucks,
like,
right? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
like I'm not fucking like about the land. Like I'm just like trying to like hang out, like see my family and this and that.
Yeah,
and I definitely get that. I don't get to go out there too often. So, and there's like issues that happen and I hear about while I'm over here. But like when I'm there, I'm like, yes, I want to acknowledge them, but also like, fuck, I haven't seen these people in like years. You know what I mean? Like I'm only here for fucking 1 to 2 weeks at a time. So I'm like, I'm not gonna try to just like shit on people's like fucking parade and this and that. Like if it comes up because like they're bringing it up, whatever, sure. Yeah. But I mean, I'm just trying to at this like stage in my life, dude, it's like I'm just trying to like be in good moments, be in like good vibes, love as much as I can. With family, you know what I mean? Like if people aren't with like your energy and what you're doing, then like just don't hang out with them. Hang out with them less or whatever.
Yeah.
Zenny, you need to calm down.
It's all right.
Sorry for whoever's listening. My cat Zenny too is
attacking.
Wilding out. He's attacking Limerence right now. But yeah, with that you want to keep the right people around, which you were mentioning, you know, like blood helping you like motivate you to put more stuff out. Is that kind of what I mean, Kim? Is that something like you try to curate like around like the people you have around you to be able to?
I appreciate it a lot. Like I really do. Like to me, it's important to have people that are musically inclined around you because it's like. It helps you put everything in perspective, you know? True. And that is wild right now.
He's wilding right now. We're going to tell him to get down. Get down. Nope. Stay down there.
But, yeah, it helps. It helps a lot, like, because they're always pushing more music. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've never seen, like, Vlad especially and Zach, like, they've always been, like, super proactive with their music and what they're putting out. Like, I've never been a time where I'm like, hey, let's hang out. It's like, no, I got to record. No, I'm just like, you know what I mean? They're always working. And it's great. It's like, it helps me because I'm just like, oh, yeah, I need to do that too. Yeah. So I'll schedule times and stuff like that with Ricky and stuff, like, you know, and Unity. And,
also, you work with Ricky too? Like,
yeah, he's my recording engineer.
Oh, dope.
Yeah. And I mean, it sucks because he's on tour right now, and they're out doing. And
did you see what happened to him? That he left like his clothes?
Yeah, bro. I don't know. Like he texted us. He's like, so I lost half my clothes. And we're like, what the fuck happened? You know what I mean? He's like, yeah, this and this happened, and you know, I just don't have half my clothes now. And I was like, okay, well, like, I think he comes back sometime soon, so I'm excited to see him because he's been gone for so long.
He's been gone for a good minute.
Yeah, but yeah, so having them around, it really helps motivate me, you know, to kind of keep putting out music and keep trying. Like I got a bunch of songs that I'm just basically waiting on art for to get done and stuff like that. And I just recorded a new single with J4Y. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's in Zach's crew. Oh, okay. He's really, really good. He's like more of a hip hop rap artist, and our sounds like really melt together. And I really wanted to do music with him ever since I've known him. And I finally was like, you want to do a song? He's like, yeah, like when you want to do it. Yeah. And I went over and he's like, do you got a beat or something like that? I was like, yeah, I have one, but I haven't really done anything. He's like, fuck it, we'll do it right now. And I was like, what? And we got it done in an hour. Like that's how quick. Like, and his part is so good. Yeah, it's really good.
Damn.
And
these are some cool moments.
Yeah, and he had everything. He's like, we already got it all here. Let's do it. And I was like, oh, okay, because I just pulled up at Zach's house, and Elias Cole was recording, and Zach was recording. Like they were just hanging out recording.
Yeah.
And they're like, "You want to come through?" And I'm like, "All right, bet." Like we'll just go stop by, say hey. And when we pulled up, they had already finished their session, and they were picking up a homie Pablo Worldwide. He's another artist from Ohio. He flew out down here for the show.
Oh, shit.
And he's like, "Yeah, we're gonna go pick him up. You know, y'all just hang out here." I'm like, "Okay, bet." And then I showed Jay the beat, and he's like, "Do you want to do something like right now?" And I was like, "Shit, if you want to, like, fuck it, let's try it." And an hour and a half later, we had a full fucking song done, and it's really good.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and it's like just having them around really helps.
Yeah,
you know, because they're always working. You know, and so there's never a time where it's like, "Oh, you want to go out?" Like we have time where we go out to hang out, but if it's when it comes to music, it's like, no, we're getting this done right now. We're gonna do it right now. No waiting on it, stuff like that, you know.
Which is good because like a lot of like you have to strike like when inspiration kind of hits. You know what I mean? Like, okay, if we're ready to work, like let's work on it right now and do it. And I that was one of the things I was always bad at, like with writing, is that I had my moments where I did that, but there's a lot of times where I didn't have, you know, access or like the people around me, because in the band like it's a little harder. Like you have to get everyone kind of together to finish writing something, but. That must be really cool. I have a friend, his name is Dizzy Davis, who writes like that. So he'll
met him.
like he'll like come in here and he was like, yeah, I have like 3 songs. Like I was like, I have 3 tracks, and we're like, okay, like what do you already have your parts? He's like, no, I'll get them done like here. And I'm like, okay. He'll sit down, and that night, like in his session, he'll write 3 songs, and I'm like, that's so insane to me how like that inspiration strikes. But people work like that, but you need to have. I think having the people around you to keep like who write that, like, you know, with you, and like collaborating is one of the things that we've talked about, like helps a lot. Like, build your writing, you know, skills and styles. You get to learn a little bit more from people from here and there, and kind of grow. So you are you planning? You said you have a few songs just like kind of like done already. You're just waiting for it.
Just waiting.
Do you use the strategy of just like releasing singles a little bit more right now, or are you working like towards like entire project?
Right now I'm just doing singles. I'm literally just putting out as much music as possible to kind of build up sort of a fan base, you know, trying to get people who actually would want to listen to a full album from me. I feel like just singles here and there kind of just help, like, hey, you know, I'm right here. You know, just kind of put my name out there for a little bit. Eventually I do want to get to one, because I already have like an idea of what I want to do with it, like the vibe, the sound I want to go with.
Gotcha.
But I'm kind of just waiting on just like for now I'm just making all these singles until something more comes of this. Something more comes from this, you know.
I think that's honestly like for upcoming artists and starting out, whatever, like I think the single idea, I think the idea of writing an album, I think it's just like everybody's ingrained to it. To be like, oh, like I want to write an album, like I want to put this together, or but it's kind of hard when you like, if you're a new artist, you write a whole album and put it out, and it's like people listen to it for like that month and then forget it. It's like I worked so hard like on all this, like this whole project, and it fades away quickly. One, because there's music coming out all the time, like all the time, so saturated with like how much. So you have to. So I think people who write albums have their following already there, where they have their people who are like, oh, okay, I'm gonna listen to this album already, and then like a few new fans like trickle in to listen to the entire thing. But singles, one, I feel like you get to drop music whenever you want. It's like, oh, I'm done with it. Like literally right now, it's like I'm waiting for art. As soon as I get the stuff, then I find my way to promote it, and it's out. You know? So you get the not the instant gratification, but you get the gratification of being able to like, oh, I wrote this song, let's put it out. Wrote the song, let's put it out. And then you're right. It's a good way to build a fan base. One, because if you drop a single every 2 to 3 months, you're still being able to remain relevant that entire year. You know what I mean? You know, if you drop every 2 months, that means you could drop 6 songs in a whole year, but your name is out. Every song. As soon as that one song's heat like starts dying down, you have another one. Like, okay, and then you remain relevant, and again you get your satisfaction of like being able to put music. I feel like that's a really good way for like up and coming artists to do. And plus you get to, you know, most of your singles are like really good songs. You know what I mean? Like because you only focus on like writing this
Yeah,
one, like,
and instead of trying to make it incorporate with everything, which
exactly,
I like the idea of that, of like a whole concept and stuff like that. But honestly, if I do an album, it's gonna be along the same subject line and same kind of like storyline, I guess.
Yeah.
But as far as it being super incorporated, like a concept album and stuff like that, I feel like that's not really something I would want to do.
Yeah.
Because I see a lot of artists do it. A lot of bigger artists make like all these songs tie into each other. Here's like a little skit track in between to kind of link it together and stuff like that. And I'm just like, I don't want to do all that.
Yeah, and like I think everyone just writes different, and people find their moments to do stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, you have to. Plus, like, it's. I mean, just one of the things that with any like artist, like when you are starting, like when it's just you at the beginning, I go, oh, that shit's coming out of your pocket, like to make all those things.
Yeah.
So if you're recording a skit track, like guess what? You have to pay to record a skit track. Like if you have to, like, you know, you're gonna have to find a way to keep promoting that whole, like all of that is studio time stuff that you're paying for, and it's all. And I don't think a lot of people who maybe aren't or don't have people like friends who are like artists or musicians don't quite get some of that part. It's like, oh, like all this stuff. Like,
it's
if you see a music video, yes, I was like, that's expensive. That's money.
Yeah, that's
go,
a lot of money.
If you see me get a new logo, guess what? I spent money on that. Like if you see like artwork for stuff, and like that's another like money. It's all money. So people, I think sometimes when I was like writing music, I felt a little bit of like some negative vibes from people who weren't like musicians. Not and luckily it wasn't people that I kept around like myself or anything like that. But the people who would like criticize or look at me like being a musician as something like dumb or this and that didn't incorporate like the work that like was being put behind the scenes. It was like, oh, they put out the song. It's like, no, like we had to like everyone has to be like have their instruments, be good at what they do, like record. Practice these things.
Yeah, practice.
Sure like, go to the studio, record. Like, all right. I remember, again, and then there was little things that we did that maybe we shouldn't like had done. They weren't cost effective, but like we made a whole spread for like our EP. So like if you open up the art book, like it had their whole artwork on the back and the CD cover, which ended up costing us like I think like $300 or something like that.
Yeah, and it all adds up.
Yeah, it all adds up. Like these little things. I still have like a bunch of CDs because they were like, oh, if you get this much, like it'll lower the cost. But we got like 300 CDs of our EP, and look, we broke even and profited like off. But I still have like 200 CDs.
Oh
like
shit!
Left.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all at this point. Like, we didn't lose any money on that because it literally paid for everything. Yeah. But I'm like, but now I'm left with like all these. Like,
I got all
maybe
these
like
CDs.
didn't need the cost of stuff, especially like with. I mean, even at the time we released that, like. We would have CDs. Like everyone's like streaming.
Bro, I don't even think cars come with CD players anymore.
They don't. Right? They
don't.
I don't think my car. Like I just bought my car this year, and I don't think it has one.
Yeah, my girl just bought a car, and it does not have a CD player.
Doesn't even have like mine doesn't even have like an aux port. It's just that USB thing. Like, for the whatever Apple CarPlay or Android.
And hers actually it doesn't even have like the USBs inside the console inside.
Oh,
you have to actually go out of your way to do it because it does Apple CarPlay through the Wi-Fi.
Oh, what?
On your phone. Yeah, no connect through there. Like, you don't even have to... it's wild to me. And, but yeah, nobody does CDs anymore and stuff like that. Yeah. So it's crazy. Like, I've always wanted to do a CD just because I want, like, just the whole artwork and stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like, something to hold. Like, hey, you want to buy my CD? You know what I'm saying? But, like... I was gonna sling them at Trader's Village, you know.
But
put a little tent up.
The thing is that the good thing about like putting out CDs, yes, it's weird, but it's still, even if like people aren't playing it, people still want a piece of merch from you if they like you. So that's one thing I had to learn. Because when we initially started making like merch and things like that, we would be like, oh, like, you know what, the shirt costs us $10 to make, let's only charge $12.
Yeah.
And it was like my profit margin was like small because I was like, no, I just want people to have it, and I didn't really get to see that like, oh, like people want to support you. They hope like buying this shirt it's not really because they want a shirt, like they want this shirt. It's because they like, hey, they loved you and they hope that buying this shirt is gonna help you keep doing what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then I was like, oh, okay. Then we put a little more value into like yourself to be able to put out like, oh, okay, like if they like you, they're gonna buy this, you know, because they want to support. Like that's what it is. And you find out playing live shows is probably one of the easiest ways to gain like support, because people love live music. Like, seeing artists, even like I've had a bunch of like instances where I see people for the first time like live, and I'm like, fuck, that's good. And I've had instances where I go back and I'm like, oh, their music like online is not that good, but I also get to recognize that it's not really the music. It's just like, oh, I mean, it costs money to make this, so like, it sounds good live, so fuck it, like I'm gonna help support, like, so you know, they can put out stuff like that. How have you been doing a lot of live performances?
Not really.
No.
No. My work schedule's like hardcore. Like I work 6 days a week, bro. So it's like, so it's like hard for me to make time for it. Like I can't. Like I barely have time to get into the studio. Like Sundays are my only days off.
So I really appreciate you coming
you know what I mean? And I work.
I didn't know you worked that much.
Yeah, and I work mid afternoons. So I go work from like 2:00 in the afternoon to 10. So anything I do has to be either early in the morning or super late at night.
Oh my god.
So like that's really like hard for me to kind of structure everything, like build everything around. So if I do get a show, I'm just like, I need to know like a month ahead of time so I can put in for the day and then kind of do stuff. Like the last show I did was with the XB Valentine show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the DJ put together. And that was really fun. That was like my first actual solo show. And it was like nerve-wracking to me because you know, because Chill Sounds to me it was different because it was a festival settings, and it was really fun. Like I enjoyed being there, like you know what I mean, like it. But this is different because it was more personal. It was more like they're here to see you. They're not here to see a bunch of different other people. Like, there was almost like 20 bands or something like that. Like there's so many different people from different genres too. They had a bunch of people that into the metal scene, into the rap scene, like, and I was like one of the only R&B like artists there. You know what I mean? Like and I opened, you know, which they still had a lot of people there, which I was like grateful for.
I was so happy,
because there was a lot of people there like at the start of the show, and then a lot of the vendors came up to me and were like, yo, like you're really good, and I was like, thank you, I appreciate that. Like I'm on Spotify and everything, like look it up.
Look it up.
You know what I mean? And like I want to do more shows, I really do, but right now it's hard for me to get in because the Fort Worth music scene unfortunately isn't really that big. Like when it comes to, like, it's not as big like as if it's a Dallas music scene or something like that, you know. And I don't have that kind of connection outside of, like, I can talk to Zach and stuff like that about it, but I mean his genre is like e-boy rap shit, you know. It's like it's hard for me to blend in with that. Like it's really like me and Zach actually have a song. Like that's supposed to come out in January. Like I've been hanging on to it. I've literally been almost hanging on to this song for a year. Like he bugs me. Like, and he's already played it like on his Instagram live and stuff like that. And like like even like all our friends are like, so when are you gonna release it? It's called FaceTime. So like if you're ever on his lives or anything like that, and like you'll see people like our friends who's like, where's FaceTime? And I'm like, shut up, like, you know what I mean? Like,
I'm not ready.
Literally like, I'm not ready yet. Like, you know, and I want to do a video for it and everything like that. So I've been talking to like T. Aubrey to see if we can get a video done for it and stuff. But all that stuff costs money. You know, it's especially video. Videos are expensive. Because there's a venue you got to pay for if you want to shoot it somewhere. You know, if you want to shoot it out in the street, that's fine. But you got to pay for
that's also time. You know what I mean?
You got to pay for his time.
You got to go like get to these places. And if you do it multiple places, like driving around to all these things, it takes a whole day. You know what I mean? And like for you, like doesn't have like that much time to like kind of like give up.
And anytime I give up, I'm missing money from work. So it's not only what I'm spending, it's what I'm losing by not going to work. So you know, to pay for this. You know what I mean?
Like what you spent for the video than what you spent, like what you're losing for not working. Like, to film it. Man, that's tough. See, you need to appreciate your artists. Like work hard for you.
It's really it's like a lot of people think of it. They're like, you know, oh, all you do is just hang out and sing and stuff like that. It's like no, like I used to think that way too before I got into the music stuff. And I'd be like, man, he just hangs out all day, records the songs and stuff like that. And now I'm trying to write, and I'm just like, I'm so stressed out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've been having this beat for like 6 months, and I can't figure it, like a chorus out or a hook out. It's not coming out the way I want it to. Or if I do have something already recorded, I'm like, I hate it. I don't like the way it sounds. I need to go re-record it, which is I'm just doubling the amount of money I've invested into this song because it didn't come out the way I wanted to the first time. you know, and it's all like studio time, the amount of money you paid. Like, luckily you're in a full band, so you don't have to pay for a beat. You don't have to pay. You know what I mean? We
split up stuff.
You split the work amongst each other. Like, you know, write this guitar part, and I'll put the drums in here. You know what I'm saying? Like, but for like, if I'm just a vocalist like me, I have to look for these beats, look for different producers that make music that I like, that would like to sing to, and then kind of talk to them and say, so I'm gonna purchase this from you, like, how is this gonna work? Do you want splits? Do you want this? Do you want that? You know, like, am I allowed to perform it like at a paid show?
Maybe educate me on that, because I don't know how like a lot of that stuff works. So when you buy a beat, because I've seen like options, like, because I've like looked at like beats and stuff before, and there's like stuff where you can lease beats.
All of my beats are leased.
Leased, okay. What is that?
So basically, you're going into under a contract with a certain producer that unless you're doing an exclusive, you're just leasing it from that person. So you get you agree upon amount of streams. So say it's like 500,000 streams for this much money. You can perform at live shows. You can do one music video for the song. Or you can do only non-profit shows. You can only do for-profit shows. Like, it's stuff like that. It's really limited, and then they decide what you want to split on those 5,000 plays. So some people ask for 50-50. Some people say 820. Some people, like, it really depends on the producer.
Interesting.
Yeah, I had
so if you're leasing it, you still have to have like
restrictions.
Restrictions.
You also have restrictions. Yeah, I've bought beats for like $200, and I turn around and look, and it says SoundCloud only. For nonprofit use, and I'm just like, bro, I gave you $200, and I can't post it anywhere, like, for profit. And they're like, nah. And I was like, bro, are you kidding me? Like, it's wild. And it's like, you have to actually go through and look. You always look at the contract. You have to always go through and look at these contracts to double check, because
I would literally not even.
Yeah, and it's rough. But there's always and it's always good to look at producers that don't have a lot of notoriety, because this is a bigger name producer that produced for a lot of people, and like, they'll advertise like, we made songs for like, one of these beats I was looking at got taken, and Luna B was looking at it too. Oh, really? And it got taken, and when she asked about it, like, oh, Summer Walker bought this beat.
Oh shit!
Yeah, she bought the exclusive for that.
Damn.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like,
okay.
But these are like bigger named producers and stuff like that. But they'll still advertise it because they make money off of this shit.
Yeah.
So, which I get it, but like these smaller ones, they'll do like $50, and you can unlimited streams and do whatever you want with it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And they're good. They're really good, but they just don't have the notoriety. So, like, I'll tag them in the, like, I mean, I don't have like a big fan base, but I do what I can, like, you know, to show like my support too, because I really enjoyed, like, this is their art also, and I'm just kind of adding to it. It's not just my song, it's me and whoever produced it, and I'm adding to it. You know, that's all I'm doing.
Dang, that's really great, and it kind of adds to why like people normally like find people to work with, like, I guess their own producers to make their own beats,
because it gets expensive. Because if I can have like a one-on-one with a certain producer, like I could do like, look, I'll do you 50-50, and you just give me all your beats that you don't really care for and you don't want to put out, just throw them my way, and I'll record on them. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the kind of relationship I want, because it'll save me so much money. Yeah. But a lot of the producers I do like there's one that I like, but he's in Puerto Rico, I think, or something like that. Okay. And another dude I like, his name's Dagger, and a lot of my songs are, I think, Sundress, which is a really popular song people like.
That's the one. That's the most recent one you released, right?
Yes, I think so. Not the most recent one. It's just right before the one that just came out. But he's from Brazil.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and so like I was talking to one, and he's from. It's not Puerto Rico. It's like
Dominican Republic, Costa Rica,
somewhere around there.
Caribbean.
Like somewhere around there. Okay. Yeah, you know, like one of the island countries. Okay. And I'm just like, he's like, I want $100, like, just for the basic lease. And I'm just like, oh, okay. I'm like, that's fine. And I thought about it. I was like, bro, this is like $3,000 where you live. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you know what I mean? Which is kind of fucked up. Like, but it's their art. So I'm not going to argue with them about it. But at the same time, the back of my mind is like, bro, you need to get a car with this shit where you live. Like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? And like, it to me, it's not the same thing. Like, you know, it's like, it's not fair for me to think that way. Yeah. You know? But I mean, I appreciate their art. So I'm not going to argue with them about it. I might think in the back of my mind, like, God damn it. Like, you know what I But at the same time, like I wouldn't expect, like, if I made beats, I wouldn't compromise in that way either.
That's
because it's your time, your effort, everything you're putting into it.
Exactly. And,
you know,
and like you were saying, you know, until you were an actual like artist and stuff, you didn't like, recognize like, oh shit, this actually takes that work. Which same thing with like people who make beats, same thing with people who make art. Like I'm not gonna if you decide on a price for it, now I don't have to pay for it, like because I don't have to like, you know, buy that if I can, or if I, you know, if I don't value it that much, that's whatever. I go, but you assign whatever your value wants into that, and then you're you know, it's whoever buys its responsibility to be like, okay, I agree that that's worth it for me. You know what I mean? So you can't really like that. I never understood that, like talking people down from their prices that they're doing. I'm like, what? Like other than me just trying like to lowball you or like save money, I go, I don't understand like what goes into.
There's no haggling when it comes to art. To be honest,
really shouldn't. Yeah, there really shouldn't be at all. And it's one thing. Again, it's one thing. I feel like once you like start like becoming an artist and learning these things, or being in that like circle or industry, you start to kind of have those, okay, like I need to just appreciate this like from them and put value into them, like they're putting value into themselves. Like I said, same thing with the whole thing with like merch and things like that. Where before I was like, no, we have to sell it like barely above like, you know, cost because people don't want to pay this or blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, like I go, it's not a shirt. I go, the shirt represents us, and like if we're doing a good job, then we should be able to like to charge more, because that money, at the end of the day, we're not profiting. Like I was like, I go, we're local. Like we're not profiting this money. This money isn't like, oh, it's going into my pocket, I'm gonna go fucking buy a burger. It's like, no, it's just gonna go into recording,
right back into the music,
right back into the music. Like everything is gonna go right back into into like recording, into the band, which is what whatever fan you just made, which is what they want. You know what I mean? Like, oh, like if I buy this shirt, you know, ideally that means they're gonna put out more music. Like they're gonna, you know, eventually that's what it's coming down to. Like it's gonna put out more music, more content, more music videos.
Like any money I made, like for the XV Valentine show, like in ticket sales that I made, that literally went into studio time. It literally went straight into. I was like, Ricky, I got the money, I'm sending it your way. Set up a date. We can record this music here. You know what I mean? And just that's literally what it goes to. And like a lot of people think like, you make all this money and stuff like that, and you got it. You got everything. You know, they see like the stuff I do have, like my watch, my chains, and stuff like that. Like I pay for this with my job, bro.
Like, the 6 days a week that I'm working, that's where this came from.
This is blood, sweat, and tears. I didn't enjoy when I made this chain. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't having a lot of fun when I was making this. You know, but I want to get to the point where I can like enjoy like more. Like I like my job, but it's not something I really want to do. Like long term, what I want to do long term is make people happy. It's like I joke around and I tell like my girl, I'm like, I want to like basically cause an entire generation to be born with my R&B music.
Hey, okay.
Like, and she was like, "What is wrong with you?" And I was like,
"It's called having goals."
I was like, literally, like that's what I want. I want an entire I mean, the Temptations inspired like it's like, you know.
People got busy
to Temptations, bro. And that's a whole generation of Temptations, baby. You know what I'm saying? They was pitching woo to that music, you know. And that's what I like R&B music. I grew up with R&B music. Like my mom listened to country, R&B music, and some hip hop. You know, and like my friends I got into with the metal stuff. Even my mom listened to old school rock though. My mom listened to everything. And so like a lot of my music taste I get from her. Like I'll listen to like 90s country from her, and like Metallica and stuff like that from her, and then a lot of my R&B and stuff like that she was super into, like Usher and all that stuff like that. Like just I really got into it, and I've always enjoyed singing, and so like it really brought everything together whenever I wanted to make music, you know. And so I got off the subject line, but no,
as you were saying, like, you know, you want to, like, your goal is to like really make
my goal is to make music that people enjoy, mostly, because I enjoy music. I don't judge music on if it's like super good. It's if I like it. It's literally like I don't care if a lot of people like it or a lot of people don't. If I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't. And like I'll tell people like I don't like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and they'll be like, "Oh, it's really good." I was like, "Yeah, like I'm not saying you can't like it. I'm literally just saying that's not my taste. Like that's all it is."
I think people who are like are really really adamant about you having to like a certain song.
Yeah.
Or, like if you don't like this, like you're crazy, like this and that. But music is so subjective. Like it's like it's literally like subjective. Whoever is listening to it with their own unique pair of like ears, because like you grew up listening to like a whole bunch of things that culminated into like the style that you like right now. You know, and then I grew up with some, so we can have like songs that we like in common, but there's gonna be a song that you like that I don't like because you understand it in some way that I've never understanding. I didn't have, you know, I didn't get the influence or whatever, and I think the easiest thing is like people just need to learn to be okay with that. Be like, oh, okay, you know, and I think for the most part people are. I think it's just every now and then you get some people who are like really like adamant about that, and I think that just comes with like growth.
And I like making people like that mad though. Like
it's very easy.
Yeah, I've literally at work, like I work with a lot of older people, and so they're like super into the Biggie and Tupac and stuff like that, and they like R&B music and stuff like that, and I'll piss them off because they're super adamant about it. I'm like, Soulja Boy was the greatest R&B artist of all time. And they're like, what are you talking about? I was like, Kiss Me Through the Phone was like one of the top tier R&B songs of all time, and they're just like livid. They're like, don't ever talk to me again. Like, how dare you say that? And I'm just doing it. I was like, they're like, so you don't think anybody? I was like, Plies, maybe. And then they're like, really? I was like, you ever heard Bust It Baby, bro? Like, really? You're gonna tell me that's not a great ass R&B song? And they're like, stop talking to me. And, and we're working. They're like, go do your job. And I'm just like, okay, whatever. Okay. Like, you know, but I'm just pissing them off, just to piss them off, you know. But I'll listen to stuff, and they're all old heads, and they're like, we used to be able to have speakers at my job, and I'll be listening, and they're like, man, you're gonna end up with an old lady because you keep listening to the Temptations and like Benny King and stuff like that. Like, oh, you listen to old music? And I was like, that's what I like. I like older. I like the feel of it then. Like right now, like R&B now to me is more like fast paced and like the trap soul like genre because of like Bryson Tiller and like
that's akin to mine.
Really, really like, kicked it off.
I'm really like right now into that, like Bryson Tiller and like what's that? Oh, Brent what's his name? I think it's Fayez or Fayez.
I think so too.
I can't remember. But that dude, like both of those people, like the because it was the album, right? Bryson Tiller's first album was
Trap Soul.
Right? Trap Soul. Yeah, that's I was like that's why I'm like I fucking love like that whole style that he like, you know, very like slow, smooth. It's just very fucking good.
Yeah, and I know people who do not like R&B.
Really?
Yeah, and that, to me, I'm just like, you're a sociopath. You have to be. You have no empathy if you can't feel the love inside any kind of R&B. Yeah. Like, I just don't like slow music. And I'm just like, that's wild to me.
It's wild.
Like, and I'll judge you.
Yeah.
Like, just on that. But like, I'll be like, okay, that's fine. Like, you don't have to like it, you know. But it's hard
like,
for me
I don't understand it. But
I don't understand it. Like, some people, and they're like, I hate country music. I'm like, okay, that's fine. You can not like it. Like, that's literally a totally separate thing. Like, that's if it's not even in your culture, you don't even like it. Like, I understand. Like, you don't. A lot of people have to grow up listening to certain music to really enjoy it. You know, I have memories with like my family listening to country music, listening to Tejano music, listening to the metal music and stuff like that. I have memories with all these people, and that's what I feel like your music tastes really kind of pull from based on where you were at when this song came out, what you were doing when this genre came out, and when you started listening to this genre, and what you were feeling then, because it always calls back to it, like, you know. So like the pop stuff I listen to, like I'll listen to old pop songs, I'm like, man, this is terrible. Like I can't believe this is on the radio. But like when I think back, I'm like, I was having a great time then. And, you know, I was jamming out, having a good time, you know, like even like listening to fucking Party in the USA and shit like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that song is not a bad song, but everybody will get hyped for it because the era that it came out in was so lit, you know what I mean? Like, and it's not even like an amazing song. It's literally just because of how great it, like how the vibe it was, you know, it was just a bop. That's all it was.
Hear that little guitar coming in?
Yeah, and then it doesn't matter who you are, you get live to it. It does not matter. And
that and Juvenile's Back That Ass.
That's literally the classic. The Throw That Ass Back music is classic. I listen to all of that, bro. And it's to me, music is like, it's a feeling you get. You know, it's really what you feel whenever especially when you're making it. Like for me, when I make my music, I'm like super into it. I'll do it over because I write while I'm working. Okay. And I can't touch my phone, so I have the beat on repeat over and over again, and like I'll literally write the beginning, wait for the entire song, and like ad lib the entire way, right for them, then be consistent with the beginning, and then ad lib the entire way, and then here comes a verse. I'll write a whole verse, ad lib the entire way, my beginning, my verse, ad lib the entire way, you know, and just kind of build from there.
Build
like literally build
the
from the bottom all the way up.
Wow.
And it helps me out because when I'm recording, I can shoot it off really quickly.
Well, that's the thing. Like if you're listening to it like that, you basically learn that beat, and that beat is now like part of like your brain. So you know exactly how this beat.
I know when it drops. I know when everything happens.
Exactly, and you know everything that it makes you feel as you're going along, progressing a little bit. It's like, oh, if I sing this now, I know this part's coming up later. So like this will make sense with that part coming in, or like things like that. Because that's one thing that I when I was writing in like the band, it's one thing I like doing. I was like, show me the entire thing, and I need to play it. And I would just like, they would play it over and over before I would write anything, because I would write the vocals and stuff. And I just listen. I was like, I just need to embody this song. Like, this song needs to be in my brain 100% to where I know exactly. And that's the way I learned how to write. Like, I learned how to write based on emotions. And I was just like, okay, I'm gonna listen to this. I don't know what the subject is. Like, it sounded all like, honestly, it sounded corny and shit. But I was just like, I let the song tell me what it's about. I listen to it, and I just be like, okay. And then like all of a sudden, maybe a little melody comes out. Okay, like I got something. And then like maybe a word comes out. I'm like, what's that? Why did I think about that? And then like dive into that. Okay. Then it starts building.
Yeah, and I get, because even the music has a vibe to it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? You kind of have to match up with it. You know, and if you don't really get it just right the way you feel like it's gonna go, it won't match up at all.
But then because then you get songs where it's like, oh, the beat sounds like it's one thing, and then like what you're singing or like lyrics about like
do not match up at all.
Match up to it. So you need to you need to be able to mesh well with it. In order for it to be a coherent song, because maybe the vocals and the lines are really good and the beat is really good, but they just don't go together. You know what I mean? Like, so that you can run into stuff like that.
But the way I write, it's for me has been really like advantageous, like because when I record, even when I record Ricky, he's like, okay, do it again. Like, I'm gonna layer it, do it again, and I'll do it. And he's like, do you like practice this all the time? And I'm like, bro, that's how I write. And he's like, oh, he's like, it's really easy for me because I don't have to say, okay, you didn't do it the exact same. I need you to do it the exact same way. And so it helps me record, and saves me time and money because it's like I'm just basically regurgitating what I've done like 400 times at work.
So you know exactly.
So I know exactly
the
what cadence I want. I know what tone I want here. I know what vibe I want here, and this is how it's gonna go. And so like it really helps also with saving time.
I mean, absolutely. If you're like, once you start paying for like your studio time, you realize like, oh, okay, I can't really go over there and
because I've been in sessions where it's taken like for R&B, it's a little bit harder than if I was recording a rap, because I have to structure vocal trails, cadences, like stuff like that. Like rap, you're kind of like just, you're going at it. You know what I'm saying? You're going hard. You know, it's a vibe. The energy is all in your voice and what you're saying. To me, when it comes to R&B, it's really just how you're saying it, the cadence you're gonna put to it, the tone you're using when you say it. Just even like if you're trying to go subtle, you're trying to, you know what I'm saying, you gotta speak with a softer tone. You gotta really get into it and make them feel you on, like, through the music and stuff like that.
That's the biggest thing with, I think, with like R&B, maybe with possibly with like any music, but being able to capture like the feeling you're trying to put through. It's not just, it literally is not just a melody and the lyrics. It's literally like you have to capture the emotion in your delivery. Like, it's gotta be there. Like, if not, then like the melody's there, but it's gonna be missing that one part that actually gets people to be like, oh, like I feel this, you know what I mean? Or portray like what you're saying and the melody you're putting out to be able to fully take effect in like people's heads and like ears, that when they're listening to it, you're gonna have to deliver it in that way. So like that goes all into like even mental, like if you're not in the right mindset when you're going in the studio, like it's not gonna come out.
And you'll hear it. You'll hear it. Like if I'm upset about something and I try to record, I sound upset the entire time I'm recording, and I'm not trying to, but it'll just sound like, it'll be like, geez, like what's going on with him? Like, you know what I mean? You can hear it, like, and like, but that literally comes through even in our conversations. Like you can tell when someone's upset when you talk to them. Like, Like when my girl's mad at me, I can tell just by the tone she uses with me, and I'm just like, "What'd I do?" And then she's like, "Nothing." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know I did something. I can tell your tone." But it comes through even in music.
Yeah.
Like I can't like be super like if I'm trying to get like a super intimate note off or a super intimate verse off, I can't be like super happy and excited because then I'm just like, bro, this dude sounds excited and horny. Like, you know what I mean? And not really trying to. Like, it doesn't sound like he's trying to make love at all. Like, you know, and it's kind of it's one of those things where it's like it's really important.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not trying to knock like rap or anything like that. Like it's hard. It's hard to make any kind of music. Like I understand that. Like I've tried to make rap and stuff like that. I'm just like, bro, I can't do this shit. Like it's just hard. But I've the same conversation. Like I don't know how you do R&B. That shit's hard. And I'm like, yeah, like it's like if it's not what you like to do, it's hard to do it.
Yeah,
like,
if it's not, if it doesn't feel right when you're doing it, and you get your thing, and you. If you're an artist, like you say, you know, you start out like playing like, you know, Sleeping in Sirens and stuff like that. Like once you find what you enjoy doing, and doesn't mean you can't do stuff later on, but like once you find like what you get it, you understand it, and like I know how to do this, and I know what I take. But like other people outside who might be good, you know, like at doing rap or at doing metal or something like where you're like, oh, I can't, you know, I don't know how to do that. We understand like the type of music that you're trying to do, and if you're trying to do something that you can't. It's not a thing you enjoy, then it comes through. You know,
you can hear.
Like, oh, okay, your delivery's not there. This and that, and when you start realizing, I was like, oh, you know, maybe you know this person shouldn't be doing like this type of music. When it's one thing I was speaking to one of my friends about having those friends around you who will tell you and be like, hey, like it's not coming out like good, like the way you want it to. Like you gotta have people to be honest with you. You don't have to take criticism from anybody off the street or whatever, but you have to have people that are trusted where you're like, okay, I value your opinion, tell me exactly like what you think about this stuff. At the end of the day, you're gonna make the music that you want to make, and that's like your decision. But if you have someone that's only gonna help you, is adding a critique to help you build and become better, those are good to have, like because they help you deliver. I'm sure like working with Ricky, like probably like his blood told me like a lot of stuff when he works with Ricky, like Ricky helps build them. Be like, hey, like try this and that. He's like he's really good. Ricky does the exact so that's what I mean with people. Like people, I do when we were recording like Daniel DJ would always do that with me when we were recording vocals. She's like, do this again, but instead of this, like you're gonna try to do this. Like okay, like nope, that part didn't come out the way you wanted it to. Like, and stuff like that was like, oh, try this or. One idea, like I was like super married to like this idea is super good, and then I would do it, and he's like, "That's not gonna hit like you think it is." And like, and we would try.
I've had that conversation with Ricky also,
and like you know, like, you have your moments. There's certain moments where you have to like, you know, put a little bit of the ego aside and be like, okay, like the whole point is to make a really good song, like it's to make a good song. And if you know if you have the right people around you, they're not criticizing you to talk shit about you. They're criticizing you because they're like you could make something good. I feel like you're there. But it's good to have those people around, and like I said, once you understand the genre that you're trying to do, and if you're doing a genre or whatever style of music that you enjoy and you love doing, then like I feel like it gets way easier than what you're doing.
Yeah, like I have that trouble. So I know I can be frustrating to record because I have really good tonal memory, so I can recognize when something's off. Like I have like almost perfect pitch.
Oh, really?
And so when I listen to things, like I'm really good at figuring out like if it's flat or too sharp or if the tone's off or anything like that. So it's hard to record me because I'll listen to something I'm like, I hate it. They're like, why? I was like, I was flat right here. And they're like, you sounded fine. And then they'll go and they'll zoom in and like, oh yeah, you were flat. And I'm like, yeah, I can hear it. Like I know I know what the tone I was going for and it wasn't there. And I'll do that when other people are recording and I'm just like, I have to shut up. Like I can't say anything. This is how they want it. And like, so what do you think? I was like, do you want my honest opinion? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, that was bad. Like, you need to do that all over again. You were off here. Like, you're screaming this part when the whole vibe of the song is more like closer. Like, you need to do this, you need to do that, and this is off. And they're just like, we're not listening to you anymore. I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. I'm like, it's your music. I don't care. You asked me. So, like, anything outside of that, like, you don't have to take it. Like, it's whatever. But I'm not going to say, this
But if you ask for it, like, I'm going to give you his honest.
But I'm not going to tell you it's a great song. Because to me, I'm like, if I tell you something, it's because I want it to be better. And I know you can do better. Not because I just want to bring you down or talk shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if I tell somebody, like, if I'm in a studio with somebody, I'm like, yo, like, that wasn't it. Like, this, it's not because I'm like, it was too good and I want it to be worse than than my part. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't do that. Like, I want music to be good because I know people enjoy it, and a lot of people, it helps a lot of people.
Especially if you're collabing, you know what I mean? Like, we're on, like if you're on the same song and you're like critiquing the other person, I was like, bro, we're on the same song. Like, so I'm saying this because we want to make a good song for you and for me. You know what I mean? Like, so we're both looking out for each other. Same thing with like when I used to initially, when the band first started, I used to take criticism a little like hard and then be like, oh fuck, but then I was talking about it, just talking shit. But then I'm like, we're in the same band, you know what I mean? So like, if something doesn't sound good that I write, I go, they also don't sound good. Like, we all sound bad. Like fucking dumbass line from Drumline, one band, one sound.
Yeah,
like,
but it's
true. Like,
it's the same thing.
If you're collabing or if you're working with someone, it's like, hey, like, if you don't sound good, like, we're not gonna sound like we don't sound good. Like, I don't sound good either. Like, because it's a band thing. You were not. It's not like they're gonna say, oh, you know, sure, people will say, oh, you know, the drums are good, but you know, the vocals kind of sucked on that song. But either way, they're probably not gonna listen to that song again, even if the drums are good or whatever part's good. Like, you want to create the whole thing to be good. And it takes, like I said, honest criticism to yourself and being able to take criticism from other people.
And trusting the people that are giving you those criticisms. So
again, like I said, you don't have to take it from everybody. But if you have trusted people and like that's part of your like crew or your team or this and that, and then you trust them, then if you ask for a criticism, like they're going to give you an honest one. But you need to find the right people to tell you. Because also, if you just get a bunch of people who are telling you like, yeah, that was good, and then like you realize years later when you're like, fuck, that wasn't good, man. Like people were telling me or you're like, oh, you know, my songs aren't hitting. Like, why aren't people liking them? It's like, oh, it's because they weren't good, and some people told me they were. Like, just to get it done.
Yeah, even my first song, like Call Me. Yeah, I hate that song so much.
Really?
Yeah, I hate that song.
Why?
Because I know I could do so much better. Yeah. I mean, because it was my first song.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And so, like, not my first song ever, but like it was my first time recording. So I was like super nervous and I can hear how nervous I was. And only I can hear it. Yeah, I can hear it, and everybody else is like, it's so good. Like, it's one of my, like, people love that song. And they're like, it's so good, I love that song. And I'm just like, in the back of my mind, it's like, I can do so much better. Like, I can do, like, if I really wanted to and I re-recorded it, it would be so much better. But
I feel like that's the thing that, like, as an artist, musician, like,
everybody
you're always gonna have.
Yeah, everybody.
So there's a balance. There's one of like, oh, this actually was bad, and there's one like, no, this was like me at this point in time. You know what I mean? Because you're always gonna grow. But the cool thing, I'll bring you back to like releasing singles and stuff. The cool thing about releasing singles is that you don't dwell on trying to have this picture of perfection, because you always get better. If you record one song this year, you'll probably be able to do it better the next year, and then the next year you'll make it better, but then that song will never come out. You know what I mean? Like, so if you write it and put it out, then like, okay, that's out there, I don't have to worry about this song anymore. We're writing new songs, like we're writing new stuff, and yes, I am getting better, and it's going to reflect on the newer stuff that I put out, which I feel like it has. Like, I mean, you're saying, and I get like you're saying like that song, like I can hear like the stuff, and for most people, like they won't, the minute stuff all the time. Like, yes, I can hear like my voice wavering here, like I can hear where like, oh, this breath should have been like I should have taken a bigger breath to be able to hit this note more. And we hear those like tiny, like minute things. And other people are like, no, like I like that song. Like, it's a good song. Yeah, literally. Like, when I was listening, I was like, that's a really good song.
Yeah, it's one of my closest friends, like one of my best friends. He gave me the best advice because I was doing the talent show at my school, and it was like my senior year was the last thing I was gonna do. And I was like, what if I mess up? He goes, it's your song, you wrote it. Who's gonna tell you sang it wrong? Like, it's your shit. Like, just sing it how you want to fucking sing it, and nobody's gonna fucking care because you wrote it. That's not like you're doing a cover and they're like, you did it completely wrong. Yeah, he's like, you wrote it. It's all you. So anything you do to it, it's still you. Yeah, and that stuck with me for a while. For like, even now, like it sticks with me for a while. Like, I was like, what if I mess up? He goes, who's gonna know you messed up? It's your song. And I was just like, you're right.
You're right.
And that was like the smartest. Like that still sticks with me.
Someone ever notices you just like, I took an artistic risk here and I decided to change it.
Yeah, you know, I was really feeling a moment of vibe. You know, I was on a lot of LSD when I wrote it. You know, just stuff like that. But it really that really stuck with me. Yeah, and stuff. And but I feel like that's with any kind of art too. Like even painters, they're like, like a lot of like these old painters, like that was never done, and they sold it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But they're like, oh, they always needed one more thing, and needed one more brush here, needed one more thing. Like, you know, and there's a lot of people that don't put out music for the exact same reason. They're like, oh, it didn't come out the way I wanted to. I'm just gonna keep it, and I'm just like, like would call me, like if I could take it back, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. Like I could always re-record it and redo it, but I'm not going to, because people like it the way it is, you know. And if you enjoy it, why would I mess with it? You know, because you enjoy it, and the whole point is for you to enjoy it. It's not to make me happy. It's like I don't make music to hear myself and like, oh, this is so good, I'm so good. Like, you know, I'm not sitting around like Kanye, like I'm great. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm literally making music because I want other people to enjoy it. And if you tell me you enjoy it, then I did my job. That's all I wanted. That's all I wanted. I want people to enjoy it and get the same feeling I got when I listened to music growing up. And that's what I want. Like that's like, as far as like making the money and stuff like that, like it's cool. I want to be able to do it and support myself. But if somebody called me like a week from now and was like, yo, we want to sign you and you got to make this style of music, but you have to do it like this, I'm not gonna do it. Because it's what I want to do. And you know, or if they told me like, we're only going to give you this amount of money, it's barely enough to cover it, but you won't have to work anymore and you can make whatever you want. That's what I'll do it. I don't have to have millions. I literally just want to make stuff people enjoy. And that's all I care about.
It ends up turning what you love into like something you don't love anymore. Once you get restricted, once you can't do it the way you want to do it. And it's a lot of things that happen with labels. And because a lot of these labels, the whole point is their point is to make money. Their point is, most of them, not to be artistic, not to do that. Like they could care less about that. Their point is like, how do we make you make us money? So and a lot of them have like their, you know, cookie cutter things. It's like, oh, okay, we got this program, we'll put you like on these shows, and now we'll hook you up with these artists, like you'll do songs like this, and like this is the structure, because the pop song structure like is profitable. You know what I mean? Like you hear songs that like, okay, they're and I literally, and I'm not talking down on pop music because I fucking love catchy shit. Like, but that's what they do. You know what I mean? That's why you get like then artists like who, you know, fall off the map and just be able to do what they want, but they don't have like the luxury kind of things because they're doing like the music the way they want to do it. But yeah, there's a pop song structure. That's why every time you look up like pop songs, they have like 5-6 writers, because they have their structure that they get down. It's like, oh, okay, we'll write these stuff, and then these are catchy melodies, sure. You know, we'll send it off, get a singer to put on it, and that's it. But when you're an artist who wants to write and who wants to like do their own music, it's definitely a lot more difficult, and you need a lot more freedom, because at the end of the day, it's not the money that you're doing it for. It's to fulfill your own, like, you know, to feed your own soul, to feel good, like in creating music. That's what brings us all to become like artists and stuff. It's not because we're like trying to be famous. It's because we enjoy doing that and it brings life to us. So I'm glad that that's kind of like what your goal is, you know, to make, you know, people feel good through music and capturing like helping other people capture the same kind of feeling that you felt like when you listened to music growing up. If
I do make like money off of this and help the people around me, that's a plus. That's a plus. You know what I mean? That's literally just a plus. Like I'm not obligated to, I want to, but it's just a plus. That's all it is to me. Like if I can,
allows you the freedom to be able to do what you want. Like, that's all it is. That's all like money always will be able to do that. And like, okay, if I can do what I want, and then also like it helps me continue to keep doing that, continue to be happy, then all more to it. You know? If I don't have to work my 6-day-a-week job and I can just write music and sustain myself and sustain my family, like at the root of it, like that's what everyone's looking for. It's like, I mean, sure, if you made a shit ton of money, I guess that'd be nice. I don't know. I've never had a lot of money, so I don't know what that's like. I don't want to say like, oh yeah, if I made like millions or whatever, I'm gonna be happy, because I don't know that, But I know that creating stuff makes me happy. I know this and that. That's what I know for a fact. So if that starts making me money, doing what I love makes me money. That's the difference. If I start having to change what I love and to become something else, and then that makes me money, that's eventually that money's not gonna be able to make me happy. You know what I mean? Like, it might offer security and stuff, but the whole point is to create things to make yourself happy, and I say in turn make other people happy.
And helping the people around you is always gonna make you happy. Absolutely. So that's what a lot of people it turns into. I'm not happy making what I make, but it makes the people around me happy because they can finally have what they want and stuff like that, which I understand. Like I'm not gonna say that's how I'm gonna be forever. Like it'll come to a point where I'm older and I'm just like, like making this music is fun, but I got bills to fucking pay and stuff like that, and or like my mom like needs a house and stuff like that. Like, and I understand it. Like people are like, oh, you sold out and stuff like that. Like, bro, like don't. there's a reason why they did it.
Putting yourself in that situation, a lot of times it's like, oh, okay, if I could sell out and, my mom has a house, she never has to work again. Oh, okay, I might do that. You know what I mean? Like, that's not something that's unheard of. Just like, oh, you're telling me that I could fucking, I just have to, drink a vitamin water like every time I'm out, and literally, and I get like paid for it. Like, fuck it, I don't give a shit. Like, you're getting money to like, and the stuff that you can do with that money. I mean, like, you can help like your family, support your people, and maybe turn around and give it back, in some sort of way to like your community and the people around you and help support. Is a good way. But man, I think that's a really good note to end it on. Do what makes you happy, and in turn use that happiness to help other people.
And that's really important.
I think that's a really good note. I appreciate you. This is a really good talk, man. I'm happy you came by today. I really appreciate it.
I mean, I enjoyed this a lot.
A
lot.
Yeah, it's really fun.
I really like this.
But no, thank you for coming by. Check out all of my man Limerence's stuff. I will link everything at the bottom. He's got a bunch of songs that he's gonna release sometime in the near future.
Yeah,
I'm waiting on.
I'm trying to release some like this month. Okay. If not December.
Well, as soon as you
but
release
for sure, January FaceTime with Zach's coming out.
Awesome. Then let us know. We'll definitely be sharing that as much as we can.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And hopefully, I know you got a hectic schedule, but hopefully we can see a show from you here in the near future. And if not, like I said, I'm glad that you're still continuing working on music, and we'll see a bunch of that. But I guess we'll talk to you soon, man.
Thank you very much, man.
See you guys later.
See y'all later.